guys, so today I'm going to share with you a recipe that I enjoy making and absolutely love eating, which is a fish head curry Penang style. Now, I love this dish so much because it's so rich, so flavorful. It's just absolutely delicious, and it is best eaten with rice and using your hands, which I'm going to show you later. Now, I've got all the ingredients that I need for my fish head curry Penang style, and I'm just going to run through it very quickly. Now, I've got here my fish head and a few slices of fish as well, and I'm using red snapper. You can use other types of fish head, or if you're not a fan of fish head, you can just use fish slices. That's absolutely fine as well. I also love making this dish with salmon head, or if I can't find red snapper, barramundi works as well. And I've got here my aromatics. I've got some red onions, some ginger, some curry leaves, lemongrass, and my mixed fenugreek. And for my blended items, I've got my red onions, my shallots, ginger, green chilies, my garlic, my candlenuts, as well as my polished poppy seeds. For my spice mix, I've got some fish curry powder, some chili powder, and some garam masala. And to bring everything together, I've got some coconut milk, some tamarind, and of course some vegetables. I'm using some okras, some tomatoes, some chilies, and some eggplants. And of course, my favorite herb, coriander. Alright, so I'm going to start by blending all my ingredients first. So I'm using some red onions. So I'm just going to roughly cut these and pop it into my blender. So for my curries, I normally use these ingredients as my blended items. It will add this natural sweetness, and it will also help thicken the curries, and I love it so much. I've got some shallots here. I'm just going to throw all of that in. Some green chilies as well. Just going to roughly slice everything. So I've got some garlic. I'm going to add those in. Some candlenuts. So candlenuts is a good ingredient to add in your dishes. It will add this nice creamy taste to your food, and it will help you with your digestive system. Alright, now I'm going to add some khaskhas, which is polished poppy seeds. I'm going to add a little bit of water and give this a good blending. So now I'm going to make my spice paste, and over here I've got my fish curry powder, which I'm just going to put everything in, my chili powder and my garam masala. And I'm going to add some hot water and mix it well until I get beautiful, nice, thick paste. So you want your paste to look like this. The reason I add hot water into my spice powder is so that when I'm cooking it, it wouldn't burn easily. Now, spices takes a little while to cook for you to get the best flavors out of them. So by adding hot water, you can saute it until it's properly cooked and it wouldn't burn. So I'm just going to put this aside, and I'm going to slice my aromatics. So I've got my red onions. Just going to thinly slice them. I'm using a few onions for this recipe because it'll add this beautiful sweet taste to my curry. Now I am going to julienne my ginger. So now I'm going to heat some coconut oil in my wok. You'll need a good amount of oil to cook your spices properly. Alright, my oil is hot. first I am going to add my aromatics. So I'm going to add all the onions just now, and the ginger, curry leaves, which I've cleaned. Remove it from the stem. My mixed fenugreek and some lemongrass, which I have to bruise. So throw all of that in. Give it a good mix. So you want to saute this until your onions are nice and translucent. You don't want them to caramelize, you just want them to be nice and soft. Alright, so my aromatics are nice, my onions are soft and translucent. So now I'm going to add in the spice mix. So your spices need to be cooked properly before adding any liquid. So what you want is for all the water to be completely dried out and the spices to cook gently. So this is almost done, and you can see the oil starting to sort of rise at the top of this spice mix, and it smells so good right now. Okay, so this is done. As you can see, like the oil are mostly at the top now. So now I'm gonna add in our blended ingredients. Just adding a little bit of water into my blender so I don't waste anything. Just pour everything in. So we're gonna cook this for another 5 to 8 minutes until it thickens slightly again, and then add the rest of our ingredients. So this is nice and thick. It smells so good. It's making me really hungry now. So I've been slowly stirring it for about 8 minutes just now. And now I am going to add my coconut milk. Don't waste anything. Let it cook for a bit. I'm going to make my tamarind now. So here I've got my tamarind pulp. I'm just going to mix it with some water to get the juice. And I normally use my hands for this because it's the best way for you to get all of the pulp from the seeds. Just kind of want to squeeze the seeds with your hand and get all of the pulp. Okay, so this is good. I'm just gonna add my tamarind juice now. Can add a little bit more water for the second squeeze, just to make sure we're not wasting anything. You can make this with warm water or room temperature water. I believe we've got all of it. Give it a good mix and let it come to a boil for another 3 minutes. So while I wait for my curry to come to a boil, I'm just gonna cut my vegetables. So I've got some tomatoes here. Just gonna cut them into 4. Okay, so my curry's come to a boil now. I'm gonna add some salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of honey to balance out the flavor, but you can also use sugar if you don't want to use honey. I'm using raw honey, a little bit, not too much. So the curry is looking quite thick at the moment, but once I've added my fish, it's going to release its natural juices and it's going to slightly dilute my curry. So now I'm going to add my fish head. As I mentioned just now, I'm using 1 red snapper. and a few slices of fish. Gently mix it. Now I'm gonna add in my tomatoes that I've cut just now. I've got some eggplants here, which I am also going to cut. Now add in my okras. I'm gonna add my chilies whole, but I'm just gonna lightly break them. Just gently press everything down, and I'm gonna cover it and let it cook for about 10 minutes. All right, so now this is done. I'm gonna turn off the heat. Oh, look at that. That looks so good and it smells amazing. And I had a little taste just now. Oh, it's so delicious. I cannot wait to have it with some rice. Now, I am going to chop some fresh coriander leaves, and I'm going to sprinkle some into the curry and some on top when serving. Oh, beautiful. Now I'm gonna serve my fish curry. This is a good piece of red snapper's head. Just gonna place it in here. Look at that. And it's done. I cannot wait to have it. It smells so good and it tastes even better. So make sure you try this recipe, and when you do, share your pictures and videos with me. Jemput makan, guys!